one more minute and then we're going to get started. Alright, if you are still working on daily math, then you will need to finish that up later. If you have an AR book out, thank you for following those directions and doing that when you were done. So you can put those away for now. And we're going to get started with our lesson. Today we are starting our new unit. We finished our first unit last week and we did the assessment on that and did some reflecting on Friday. So we have a new scale because we have a new unit. The standard that we are working on during this unit is to add and subtract fractions and mixed numbers. So the goal is that by the end of this unit you will all be able to do that. The benchmarks at level 3, where you will be meeting the standard, things that we're hoping all of you can do by the end, are to add and subtract fractions with like and unlike denominators, estimate sums and differences of fractions, and then solve real world problems with adding and subtracting fractions, so doing some word problems with that. If you look at the level 2, remember these are like those stepping stones that help you get to level 3. A lot of these are ones that we did last unit. They should sound familiar. List multiples of a given number. Sound familiar? Mm-hmm. Give me a thumbs up if you can list multiples of a number. Okay, how about name factors of a number? I asked you to find the factors of 15 or something. Okay, find equivalent fractions. That also is a review from last unit. Changing between mixed numbers and improper fractions. And then finding common denominators and the greatest common factor. Do those sound familiar? Okay, so we've done all of those already. There's a couple new ones, round fractions and whole numbers, and then determine whether a problem is addition or subtraction. So what that should tell you is a lot of the base that you need to be successful in this unit, you already have, because we already have been doing it for about a month, okay? So we'll continue to review these items, these skills, and build on them so that you will be successful and get to that level 3 by the end of the unit. Today's goals, so what we're going to be focusing on today, I have highlighted here for you. Finding common denominators, changing between mixed numbers and improper fractions, and then we will be doing some adding and subtracting of fractions with like denominators. So today all of the denominators will be the same when we're adding and subtracting them. And then we'll get to a few word problems as well. Okay?
Red does not meets. Yellow is partially meets, green is meets, and blue is exceeds.
Okay, where do you see that in Miss Talberg's room?
She usually just shows us it. She pops up on the screen.
How often?
Usually every day.
Okay, do you know, could you explain how Miss Talberg uses it in her class?
She shows us like what we're gonna do today, and it shows us where we're at, and
so it shows you what you're going to do each day?
Yeah.
Okay. So what if it came to the end of the lesson, or the end of the chapter, and you took a test? How would you use this?
To mark where you're at.
To mark where you're at? Okay. So what if you were at a 2? What does it mean to be at a 2?
Just partially meets.
Partially meets? Okay. And how would you know that you were partially meeting? Would you be able to put yourself on that?
Yeah.
You think so? And let's say you were at a partially meets. How would you use this scale to get to the meets?
By working on all the math skills, getting better at it.
Which math skills? How would you know what skills?
The ones that say on it.
Oh, the ones that are listed?
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea. What about a 4? What's a 4?
Exceeds.
What does it mean to exceed?
Like, you could teach somebody how to do it and you're really good at it.
Okay, good.
All right, we're going to do a little review of some of those skills that you need for your base. So first review is simplest form. So put these in simplest form. If you know them without like writing it out, if you could still write this fraction so I know which one you're doing. Okay, so 14/28, put that on your board and then put it in simplest form for me. Good, and once I type that, you can go to the next one. Good. You did the opposite. Simplest form. So you found an equivalent fraction. Yep, there you go. Good. Yep. hang on, 28 divided by 2 is, good. Try that one again. Write what you divided by.
I don't have to do it.
Yep, this one, okay, then look. This one you can still simplify, so keep going. Next up is least common denominator. So find the least common denominator for 6/7 and 3/4. I wanted to find a common denominator for 4 and 7. What would that be?
Wait, do I have to do it? Is this the one right down? If you're stuck and you're not sure, then I should see you making your list of multiples of 4 and 7. And find the multiple, the smallest multiple they have in common. We're gonna keep moving. Like I said, all of these skills are review. If you are still struggling with them, you'll be doing some small group work with either myself or Mrs. Furman to keep practicing the skills because they really are essential for you to know how to do all of these things in order to be successful at that level 3. Okay, so if you were one that was like, oh, I still am really not quite getting this, you'll be getting some work with me for Mrs. Furman. Thank you to those who grabbed their book. Oh, wait, I don't even see one person. At least some of you are sitting nice and quiet, but some of you were causing some distractions. We're going to get switched over to our new content. So if you can set aside your books and then turn your attention up here. All right, so this first problem, I know typically when you do any whiteboard work, I have you hold it up to show me what you did. But for this one, I'm just going to have you do the work and keep your whiteboard down. So then we're going to do some group sharing and talk about your thoughts on it, okay? So I'll read the problem, do the work on your whiteboard to try and solve the problem, and then be ready to share your thinking after I give you a couple minutes. Caleb swam 1 and 2 lengths of the swimming pool this morning and 1 and 2 lengths of the pool this afternoon. How many lengths did he swim today? Okay, so I want you to think about that. Try and solve the problem on your board and then be ready to share your thinking. So you don't have to hold your boards up. Just do some math on your board and think about that. We swam 1 2/3 lengths this morning, 1 2/3 lengths this afternoon. How many did he swim today? Talk with your table group about what you got and how you got it.
I got 3 and 1/3.
3 and 1/3. You're not supposed to. Equals 2. Equals 2. That's 4. And it's third. And you make it 3 and 1 and 1/3.
What's the answer? 3 and you have to go over and 1/3.
You have 1 and 1/3.
I'll have you come back to me and then raise your hand if you would like to share what you got for that and how you got it. Hudson.
3 and 1/3.
You got 3 and 1/3. Can you tell me your thought process on that?
Because 1 plus 1 is 2, and then I did 2 plus 2 is 4, and that's 1/3.
Okay, hang on. We have some people who aren't quite showing you that they're listening, so I would like us to think about how we be respectful listeners, and then we'll let you continue. Okay, so I heard that you added 1 plus 1, so you added the whole numbers, and you said that gave you 2, and then?
And then I did 2 plus 2 is 4, and that's 1/3. So then I added that 1 whole to the 2, and then I had the 1 left over.
Alright, so you said that the 4, I did see quite a few people that have this for an answer, and that was one of the steps that you got to, but then you took it one more step to simplify. It sounds like
So Hudson said he recognized that this was 1/3, which 3/3 makes what? 3/3 makes a
Whole.
whole. And so he said he moved that whole over to here. So instead of a 2, he had a 3, and then there was 1 left over for 1/3. So 3 and 1/3. Okay, you will need to do some of that regrouping. We call that regrouping today to simplify. So we've been doing some simplifying, like if it was 12/15, we divide them both, but sometimes you have to rearrange the numbers and regroup them to get it in simplest form. All right, try this one on your whiteboard. This says to find the sum. The sum means you're going to add and then simplify. So check that your answer is in simplest form. You still need to simplify that. This is really important that you bring the 8 over. A lot of students will forget to move that whole number over, but you need to move the whole number over. And then we need to divide by 2 to get 1/2. So your simplified answer would be 8 and 1/2. So if you had 8 2/4 when I told you to simplify, it needs to check that fraction and make sure it's in simplest form. All right, try this one. 4 2/4 plus 7 2/4. Okay, so now you
Eat it.
Okay, how did you have to simplify this one? How did you have to simplify this one, Carter?
Just add 4 plus 7 and 2/4 plus 2/4.
Equals, well, equals 4/4, but then if you had this, I told you how to simplify. What did I mean by that? How can you simplify that one, Atreyu? Okay. So 4/4 is equals 1 whole, and I already had 11 there, so I have 11 plus 1 equals 12. All right, one more, and then we're add this one and simplify. And this one I'm gonna have you flip over your boards when you think you got it. So write your answer and flip them over. Flip your boards over and tack with your elbow partner. What you got? All right, I'm gonna have you open your yellow books to page 21 and complete problems 1 through 9. Brooke has started, Jake looks like he started. You're double checking if you need to simplify. If you finish, then just hang tight, so we're gonna check them together in a little bit. But make sure you go back and look and see if you have any that you need to simplify. You shouldn't have a bigger number for the numerator than you do for the denominator. All right, as you come in, keep working on those problems. Okay, so working on numbers 1 through 9. Ones we left off on, we're going to go over them together here shortly. So we're not done, so finish up. As you're coming in, you should be finishing these problems 1 through 9. If you're done, then just read quietly, then I know we're ready to go through them. So keep your books open, so we're going to go over them. So 1 through 9 on page 21. We're going to share the answers here shortly. Okay, about 1 more minute, and then we're going to go through those problems on page 21. Have your books open so we can go through it right away. All right, we're going to go through these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw sticks. If I call your name, I would like you to come up and put your answer for that problem up on the board. If you aren't done with it, or you would rather not leave one that comes up with a one or answer on the board, you can phone a friend so you can pick someone else to do it for you. Okay? And then add those of you at your desk that aren't up here, your job is to check their answers compared to yours so we can discuss if there's any that we need to look over. McKenna, number 1. And you can bring your book up if that helps. Andrew, number 2. Nora, number 6. Alan, number 7. Abram, number 8. Brooke, number 9. Alright, so those are your desks. Take a look, see if there's anything that we need to look over, discuss. Alright, 11 and 5 nights. Any thoughts on any of those? What is it? Which one? Oh, number 7. Okay, so if you look at number 7, we have a bigger number as our numerator than denominator, so we need to change that to a mixed number, right? Which would be 1 and 2/5, and then we have the 3 there, so altogether it'd be 4 and 2/5. Remember, you always have to look, if you have a bigger number on the top than the bottom, you need to do some regrouping and change that over. Otherwise, you good? Pencil in your book and close it.
She break things up?
Yeah.
Why do you think that she breaks things up into smaller little pieces?
To like help us so we don't have to feel rushed. That like, oh, you're just like you learned it right now, like this is how you do it. Where when she breaks it up, then it kind of helps because like then you just get reviewed, and when it comes to that, you just know it.
Okay, so like she breaks it up into smaller little pieces as you learn, right?
Yeah.
The number sentence, 8 equals 7 plus how many fifths? What would go in that blank? 8 equals 7 plus how many fifths? That's right, you have 5. And how did you get 5?
Because 5/5 is 1 whole, and then 7 plus 1 would be 8.
Alright, so 5/5 is the same as 1 whole, plus 7 would be 8. Okay, right? Anytime you have the same numerator as denominator, that equals 1 whole. Okay, so 7 plus 5/5 equals 8. How about this one? 4 equals 3 plus how many sevenths? Right on your board, what do you think that would be? And then flip it over. 4 equals 3 plus how many sevenths? Right on your board, what do you think that would be? And flip it over. Flip it over when you got it. Flip it over.
Oh.
4 equals 3 plus how many sevenths? Alright, show me what you got. I see some upside down sevens, but I see quite a few people saying that it would be 7, 7, right? We need to make it equal 1 whole equals 4. This process right here is one of the probably most challenging pieces of what we're going to be doing in this unit, and it's one of the most important. So it's very important that you're listening right now and paying attention to how we do this, because it's definitely one of the trickier pieces. This process is called ungrouping. So you will hear me say you need to ungroup those numbers. Okay, and that's what it means. It means you need to break them apart so that we can work with them more easily. So ungrouping, very important piece of information and a very, very important skill. And it's also one of the more challenging ones. So we're going to practice that here. We're going to switch gears and now do some subtracting. Okay? So I want you to read this question. I'll read it out loud. You do the work on your board and then we'll be ready to share. I have 3 and 5/6 yards of string. I cut off 2 and 1/6 yards for my sister. How much string do I have left? Okay, so do some work on your board and see if you can come up with the answer for that problem. Talk with your table group about what you got and how you got it. denominator stays the same. I saw lots of you had 1 and 4 6. I heard a lot of conversations about 1 and 4 6. If I were to simplify this answer, what would that be? In simplest form. Abram.
1 and 1 third.
1 and 1 third? Close.
Oh, what do you mean supposed to?
Want to try again? What are you going to divide on both sides?
2.
So 1 and
2.
want to phone a friend? Where do you want?
And a 3.
1 and 2/3? Divide them both by 2? You were close. Again, this is the most challenging part of our unit and it's very important information. So let's be sure we're watching. Paying attention up here, all of our focus. Okay, so I have 7 and 1/5. Do you all see that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 1/5. Yeah? I need to take away 2 and 4/5. Okay, so I'm going to take away this one, and I'm going to take away this one, and now I need to take away 4/5, but I only have 1/5. If I have 1/5, can I subtract 4/5 and get 3/5? Because that's what that's what a lot of you told me, right? You said 1/5 minus 4/5 is 3/5. If I have 1, can I take away 4 and end up with 3? Can I do that? No. Okay, this is a very common mistake, so I'm going to show you. Okay, so I have a whole pie or pizza or whatever you want to say right here. If I cut that into fifths, now I can take 1, 2, 3, 4 of them away. Right? These are gone. I still have this one, and I still have this one, and then I have those. So how many holes do I have? Watching up here. How many holes do I have, Andrew? 4. How many fifths do I have left? Friendly. How many do I have circled? 2. 4 and 2/5. What we're doing is that ungrouping. We needed to break apart another hole so I have smaller pieces so I can, or more pieces so I can take more away. A very common mistake for 5th graders is to do this. When you're ungrouping, I see students cross this out and make it a 2 and then they put a 1 right there. Why do they do that? Why do 5th graders want to do that? See what I just did? Why do you think 5th graders do that, Abram?
Because we learned to do that last year.
Because when you're subtracting whole numbers, that's what you do because you're only working with multiples of 10, but that's not the case with fractions. So to get your new numerator, you add your denominator plus your numerator, and that's your new one. We're going to do a couple problems on your boards to practice this. So on your whiteboards, I want everybody to do number 11. You're going to rewrite it vertically. 5 and 1/6 minus 3 and 5/6. Have you get started on your assignment. If you want to do the problems with me, like if you're needing a little bit more help and want some more practice with me, I'll be at the table and you can come back and work. Wait until I'm done giving directions so everyone can hear, and then you can get started on your work time, okay? So your assignment, you're going to want to listen carefully for this because we're not doing all of the problems, okay? So you are doing page 11 in your blue book, odds only. What does odds only mean? Okay, odds only, what does that mean, Brody?
Only do odd numbers.
So like for instance, it would be, for starting with number 1, 5, 7, 9, right? And then on page 12, the back side, you're only doing numbers 7 through 12. Okay, so there's only 5 problems on the back side, and then on the front it's just the odd numbers, so the only ones you're doing. Okay, and then after that, go ahead and follow the list of items of what you need to do. And again, I'll be at the green table, so if anyone wants some more help, bring your assignment back to me and I will work with you. Okay, go ahead and...
That's okay. All right, I'm going to ask you about some rules and procedures in Miss Talberg's room. Do you know what to do when you go into Miss Talberg's room?
Yeah.
How do you know what to do?
She usually has it on the board outside the door or the board inside.
Oh, okay. Do you think Miss Talberg's room is neat and orderly?
Yeah,
Why?
because it's just really clean and she tells us really clearly on the board.
She writes really neat on the board.
Yeah.
Yep, she does. What about the things in her room? Do you feel like things are organized in her room?
Yeah.
What evidence tells you that they're organized?
Well, it's easy to get around in there.
Okay. It's easy to move around in her room. If you needed a whiteboard, do you know where to go?
Yeah.
If you wanted a clipboard, do you know where to go?
Yeah, I saw them before.
Okay. If you wanted a certain type of book, would you know where to find it?
Yep.
Okay. Do you know how to check out a book in Miss Talberg's room?
Mhm.
What are the steps to check out a book in Miss Talberg's room?
You grab a sticky note, write the name of a book and your name on it, and then hand it to her.
Okay. Does Miss Talberg give opportunity for all students to practice and learn?
Yeah.
And what do you think does Miss Talberg do something if you were having trouble? Like if you weren't understanding some of the math, what would Miss Talberg do?
At work time, at the end of the day, like right now, she would pull us over, or we could go over to her desk and she would help us work on it.
Okay. Do you feel like you can always ask Miss Talberg for help?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Does Talberg do anything in math that helps you review things that you have previously learned?
Yeah.
What does she do?
At work time, she would take small groups that some people need to work on and help them work on that, and then you get another small group and work on that.
Okay. So maybe they're working on different things? Okay. And what about, do you do daily math in Miss Talberg's room?
Yep.
What is daily math?
You just do some questions and review to get ready for the day. And
Okay.
the math lesson.
Oh, okay. So it's to review and get ready for the math lesson? What about homework? Why do you think Miss Talberg gives you homework?
So we can get better at the lesson.
At the lesson? Like the skill taught during the lesson? Okay. And do you know what the purpose of her homeworks are? Like why is that the only reason she gives you homework?
No,
Okay. Does Miss Talberg always have you do all the problems on your homework?
not usually all of them, just some of them, and sometimes there's all of them.
Okay. How do you think Miss Talberg picks which problems to do on your homework?
Maybe if there's only a little bit of time, if they're harder or easier.
What do you mean by harder or easier?
Like if the questions are harder than we should be doing right now, she would not make us doing them.
Like if you weren't ready for it? Is that what
Yeah.
you're okay. I think we're good. Do you know what to do right away when you walk into Miss Talberg's room?
Yep. On her whiteboard, she tells you, she writes down some things that you need to do daily. So we do, on our Chromebooks, we go to Google Classroom and then we do our daily math. And then when we finish, you shut your Chromebook and you read.
Oh, that's usually what she has on her board.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? So what if Miss Talberg wanted to do something different that day? How would you know what to do?
You read the whiteboard, and if it said, oh, we have something going on, you just sit there and read until she tells you what to do next.
Oh, so that's the expectation when you come in Miss Talberg's room?
Yep.
Okay.
Or you just sit and be quiet.
Do you think Miss Talberg's room is neat and orderly?
Yep.
What makes you think, why do you think that it's neat and orderly?
Because she has bins for everything.
Bins for everything? Are they labeled?
Yep, and for her bookshelf, if you check a book out, you have to write a sticky note and give it to her, and she knows, oh, you didn't bring a book back, you can't get another book.
So she knows your organized system?
Yep.
Okay. Do you know where things are at in her room? Like if
Yep.
you need certain types of resources, where do you think, give me an example.
The whiteboards would be by the door,
Okay. What else?
and the markers and the erasers would be by the whiteboards.
Okay.
And then the other boards we use would be right underneath them.
Okay. Does Miss Talberg have a special procedure when you turn your assignments in?
Yep, we have special bins. We have social studies or math, and then she has a list of our names, and when you finish, you just cross your name out.
Okay.
So when we go in the classroom, we sit down, grab our things we need, and then we then we do daily math
Mhm.
usually, and then
Can you tell me what daily math is?
she has a Google slide that we go on, and then we just fill out all questions she asks, or
What type of questions does Miss Talberg ask?
like math questions.
Okay, what type of math questions?
Right now, what is it? Mixed numbers.
Okay. Do you know what
Fractions.
mixed numbers and fractions are?
Yep.
Do you think Miss Talberg believes all students in her classroom can learn
Yes.
and will learn?
Mhm.
And is she going to teach it till everybody's understanding it?
Yeah. Or if you don't understand it, she'll pull you in a group and you just go over it with her.
So if you had trouble learning something, she'll pull you into a smaller group?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so in math, I usually have you work on whiteboards. Why do you think I have you use whiteboards?
So you can erase it and write down faster.
Okay, and how does that help? How does it help me as a teacher, do you think?
So you can just check it and then we can just erase it and get ready for the next one.
Okay. Why do you think I have you do like daily math and math problems on your whiteboard each day?
So we can get ready for the lesson.
Okay. How do you think I know whether you know the math skills or not? What do I use to see if you're learning?
Your whiteboard,
Okay, so checking whiteboards. Anything else?
paper,
Like
daily
what-
math.
Daily math. Okay. And what paper? What else do we say for paper?
Like your yellow book and your blue book.
Okay, so our workbooks we use when I come around and check. Okay. How do I let you know that I can tell if you are paying attention or not?
You raise your eyebrows.
Okay, so face expressions. Anything else that
You look at me.
if someone's off task, I look at them? Okay. Do you think I notice when students aren't paying attention?
Yeah,
And how can you tell that I notice?
because you look at them and give them this type of look.
Okay. Sounds good. Do you think I notice when students are paying attention and doing what they're supposed to do?
Yep.
Okay. How can you tell, or what do I do?
Like you'll say, are you paying attention or are you just talking to a friend?
Okay. Anything else that I do to let people know I notice they're paying attention?
You'll say thank you for my friends that are paying attention, participating.
Okay, thanks. Question was, how do you know when I'm teaching something that's really important?
You speak boldly and you talk a lot about it to make sure everybody understands what we're learning.
So there's lots of times where I'll tell you to talk with a partner or table group or something
Yeah.
like that. Why do you think I have you do that?
See what others think.
Alright. So you are a student who doesn't usually like raising their hand in class to answer questions. Do you think that I still expect you to think about the questions and answer them? How do I have you participate or answer the questions?
Talk to my table group.
Okay. Are there any other ways that I get students to participate if they're not raising their hand?
You draw sticks.
Okay. And if I draw your stick and you don't want to answer, what do you do then?
I usually just answer, but other people, like, they might phone a friend.
What does phone a friend mean?
Pick on a friend, and they'll answer for you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.